Welcome to the Made in MV podcast, where we invite you in to learn how we do what we do at the Mount Vernon School and why. In this 5th episode, meet Mr. Clark Taylor, Director of Theater Arts at the Mount Vernon School, and Wynn Scott, Class of 2022, President of Thespian Troupe 7702, Director and Actor at Mount Vernon. These two will share a peek behind the curtain of their recent production, the one-act play that goes wrong, The Murder at Haversham Manor. This is a play within a play with impeccable comedic timing, gags, spoofs, and chaotic hilarity. It takes great talent and skill to make something so wrong be so right. Welcome back to this 5th episode of the Made in MV podcast. I'm Ann Katz, your host for today, and I am so excited to welcome Mr. Clark Taylor, Director of Theater Arts at the Mount Vernon School, and student Wynn Scott, the senior Class of 2022 and President of Thespian Group 7702. Welcome to you both.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to hear more about this play that you just performed and you directed and produced, Mr. Taylor. The one-act play that goes wrong, that incorporates a secondary play, Murder at Haversham Manor.
Right.
So I'm going to give everyone a second just to absorb that, because that is probably the longest play title with so many things involved in it. Which is par for the course for the actual production. I was lucky enough to be able to be in the audience for one of the evenings of the show, and I was in hysterics along with everybody else in the audience. So give us a brief overview of this play. Mr. Taylor.
Well, it's a comedy.
It is.
And it was written by a group called the Mischief Theater. It had its opening at the Fringe Festival, which is the world's largest theater festival in Edinburgh, Scotland, and huge success there. Somewhere along the way, this guy Murray F. Abraham saw it and just loved it, and he said, "Hey, I want you to make it over to Broadway and get it playing there, but I want you to extend it." So they took the piece that we did and they turned it into a full 2-act play. So with even more insane gags and comedy built into that. And from there, they've kind of built their own franchise of this style of just mayhem theater, I guess is the way to put it. Yeah.
Mayhem theater. I like that category. I think that needs to be a new category, because it's hard to make things look silly and like mistakes. That's a really difficult skill to possess. So it's a play within a play, right?
I interrupt. That was our biggest challenge from the get-go. Was we just did a lot of groundwork with the script and we talked about it a lot, and just kind of said, well, what would happen if we go in this route? And the biggest thing was just challenging that within the play, these actors, and particularly Wynn's role as the director, who's just trying to keep this little play chugging along in spite of all the horrors that fall upon it, and they do. It's just so craftily written. It just starts, kind of innocent with just, someone is having trouble with their lines, to like the end, just literally the entire set just falls apart. So we had some just great research and time, we can say, in exploring it and figuring out what to do with this thing.
Yes.
Talk a little bit from your end in the cast of your take on it, man.
So we really enjoyed this one, but as Mr. Taylor said, there were so many logistics we had to think about of getting everything to work. And most importantly, the set. The set is a character in and of itself.
Yeah.
In this thing. So throughout the show, it does so many amazing things that we have to incorporate to A, look natural, B, be safe for the people in the cast,
Yes.
and of course make people laugh. So a lot of our times, every Tuesday and on the weekends as well, we come in and just try to figure out how to build a set where the walls can easily fall down and not hurt anyone, or a door can just come completely out of the frame, or a shield can hit someone in the head just by swinging from a slam door. Barometers, clocks falling all about, the curtain. There's so many different little parts of the set that we had to figure out that really enhanced the overall play and the mayhem of
Yeah.
it.
I would
So
say it was almost cartoon-like. It was like if you've seen it in the cartoons when it's animated and nobody can possibly get hurt, that the whole wall falls and the character or the
Yeah.
actor is in the door frame and doesn't even flinch. And
Right.
it completely goes around them. And that is masterful. I don't want to ask if anybody got hurt don't tell me, but a couple of bruises, I'm sure, just to learn the hard way. But it was masterful to have the timing and the ability to interact, because if it's a one-man play, you could do it all day. But if you're interacting with other characters and actors, and your timing has to be impeccable, which it was. So I don't know if you would call it, maybe this isn't a good term for it, but slapstick maybe, or it's almost like Charlie Chaplin meets Carol Burnett, and
right.
just
That's great. Yeah.
just so purposeful, so intentional, so controlled, and so utterly chaotic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell us more about when you heard about the concept of this show. I don't know if you were familiar with it before you heard the title, but tell us your thoughts as the play and the story kind of unraveled to you.
So I actually know about Play That Goes Wrong before we even announced it here. I love the play. It's incredible. So when I heard that we were doing it here, I was very, very excited. Basically, all we're doing is taking a very simple whodunit murder mystery. It's these amateur people putting on this very simple whodunit murder mystery.
Yeah.
And as the play goes forward, one by one, each little thing starts to unravel until eventually everything's into pure chaos. None of the rehearsals went anywhere. We all the work we did is just gone in that opening night, because this simple little easy to do play that we've been working on, everyone just keeps messing up, the set messes up, and it just snowballs throughout the entire production.
I have to tell you, I couldn't decide whether my favorite scene was I don't know what you call the old time telephone with the earpiece and the pole and swinging it. It was like Tim Conway swinging it to reach, to reach another character. And again, it was just so well done and so well timed that, I mean, you guys are professionals. I mean, to the nth degree. I don't know how many times you had to practice each individual stunt to get it down, because it just was seamless. Tell me about that. Tell me about like practicing those stunts.
So every Thursday we'd have a professional fight choreographer, John Hammerman, come in and help us. So those Thursdays we would block off to working purely on the stage combat, making it look realistic, and again, keeping the students safe while doing it.
Yeah.
So he taught us all these unique tricks. We use crash pads. We use safe ways to fall, which there are actually like certain ways in theater to fall so you don't land on your wrists and hurt them. So we worked on that for a good month, maybe more, every Thursday. Working on that every Thursday.
One of the things we discovered as we started getting props and that added is that it is just chaos all over the stage floor of things falling down. And so actors were doing a really great job of just keeping the crash pads clear, areas where people were going to fall on, so they weren't falling on candlesticks
the props
and things. So
there's so many little things that we actors think of during the show. If we know eventually that the wall is going to fall, but we see in the scene before there's a table in the way, we have to subtly move that table. So people won't notice what we're doing it, but we're secretly preparing the entire set to eventually do what we wanted to do, in this case, fall.
I would call this stressful acting. It sounds very stressful to have to be aware, to have to be on, to remember your lines, to remember your position, and to have to move a table because it all of a sudden appeared there and it shouldn't be there. So Kudos, very, very well done. Mr. Taylor, how did you, I mean, when I went to the show, I am pretty sure I heard you laughing louder than several of the audience members. So how does it stay fresh for you? How do you, when you see this show for the umpteenth time,
I
does it still instill that?
I I just think it's so funny every time. I just like seeing when they pull a gag off perfectly and they land the punchline, and a lot of that's just my joy.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, so funny. And it was a show that really grew
Yeah.
by closing night. It was really quite a nice little clockwork. It just
Mhm.
ticked along, and that made all this just really, really happy and joyful to see that. This might have a life down the road. We had a lot of judges come
Oh,
each night to watch it, and so we're kind of waiting. I think what I say, December
December 8th.
8th.
Yeah.
We'll know whether we get to take this to the state festival at the Georgia Theater Conference and perform it there. So we're kind of giddy and excited, but
I'm
oh
excited and
my
giddy
God,
and
we're gonna have to take this on the road. So more stuff to go wrong.
more stuff. You need a big truck.
We need a
That's
big truck. We need to figure out how we're going to make the walls stay up. We
well,
just hook them to our pipes here.
if anybody can do it, you will figure out a way.
It will
Um,
happen. Yeah.
So the other actors, how, I mean, I'm sure everybody contributed a great deal to the production in its own right, but I'm sure everybody brought a different perspective, and somebody, surely some people brought, some different ideas and perspectives. Tell us a little bit about that.
So throughout rehearsals, Mr. Taylor is very open to this. Whenever we're staging a scene or a specific funny moment, gag, anything, and someone in the cast who's not on stage has an idea, ooh, what if instead they look this way, then that way? He'll be open to it and let us try anything we want to try and see what sticks and what doesn't. And that just overall helps us all encompass and join together to create this one show.
And I think it makes it more authentic as well when it's an actual, it's an observation that somebody can maybe improve on. It just makes a better product.
Yeah, I think you can also look at a lot of great comedies. Ghostbusters is celebrating with a new film coming out. There's a wonderful interview with Dan Aykroyd and some of the other guys. And they were saying just, it was such a collaborative process. And there was, no setting up on a podium and telling everyone what to do. Everyone just kind of dipped into that pool of comedic resource that we had, of just feeling open to trying to see what we could do to just make it funnier, faster, and louder.
So what comedic influences did you bring in? Film or other characters?
Anything that we could find. You mentioned Charlie Chaplin. I also would say a lot of Buster Keaton. The old film comedians had a lot of that. But as you mentioned, a lot of Carol Burnett, just that episodic kind of comedy, variety show aspect. And a lot of Warner Brothers and Tex Avery cartoons with it came. But also a lot of nuance, because what was so challenging was they were playing two characters. The ones who were trying to make the play happen and the characters are on stage. So that was a really great stretch for us to take on.
What's our heroine's name? Is it Kate?
Cat Petty.
Cat Petty. Her ability to overact was outstanding. So to act as an actor who's overacting,
Yes.
has got to be one of the most difficult things to pull off, and she did it beautifully, of course.
She's great. She's so quiet off stage.
Mhm.
So it's always just fun to watch her come on. She just plugs into this energy and just fires up on stage. And there's so many people. Warren Neal, who's played the young juvenile lead,
Mhm.
played Max. He just came in with just some crazy choices he would make, and so it was wonderful. We found, which is not always the case, trying to get more out of an actor. We were literally at one saying, "Okay, that's fine. Let's just back off that choice." It was great to have that energy.
Very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
So
He
when
just
I
brought something wonderful to the table.
everybody must have brought their own independent style and personality, and it showed. It really gelled well.
Yeah.
I mean, even to the was it Dennis on the soundboard?
Yes.
Yes.
Really well done. When we share this podcast, we'll share the link to the photos, because I think that it's just a natural accompaniment to be able to actually see some of the shots that we're speaking of. And when I've seen you on the stage many times, and you have played the gamut of roles, I can't remember, is it Alberto or Alfonso?
Adolfo.
Yeah. Adolfo. Yes, there it is. So you've done a lot. You've done serious roles, you've done comedic roles, you've done this slapstick. And so what is your preference? What is your preferred style?
That's a great question. I love it all. This year we have been focused. Last year we focused mainly on Shakespeare, and that got me more into Shakespeare than I've ever been before. And I really developed a great love for Shakespeare. This year we're focusing more on comedy. So I love doing comedies. I think they've always been some of my strongest work whenever I do comedic roles. So this year, doing all these comedic roles is just so much fun for me. You can have a lot more fun with it.
Yeah, but I want to say that he's about to take on a senior theater piece. He's going to be doing a one-man production. It's a pretty dramatic role.
Yeah,
So,
What is the topic or the name or can you share that yet?
Yes, it is an Iliad, which is the telling of the Trojan War between the two fighters, Achilles and Hector. And
Okay.
the final 9 months of that story.
Oh, wow.
So
Have you heard of, he's what?
Minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Cherry Log Christmas Carol? I know of another one man production, Mr. Taylor, and you're bringing it back again this year.
Yep, it's going to happen.
At Christmas time in December. Everybody keep your eye open for that. That's one not to be missed as well. So I heard you mention the Fringe Festival. Tell us a little bit about the school's involvement and your participation.
Yeah, excuse me. We got invited by the American High School Festival to perform at the Fringe, which is the world's largest theater festival that happens every summer. And so we will be going in July and August to perform an adaptation of Midsummer Night's Dream. It's going to be set kind of in a hybrid disco hip hop environment. So,
Fantastic. And where is this located?
in Edinburgh, Scotland. So we'll be going across the pond with all our trappings, costumes and props, and ready to perform on a world stage.
That's very exciting. Congratulations. That is a huge accomplishment for yourselves and the actors and everybody involved. It shows a lot of where the theater program at Mount Vernon has come. And we're just very excited to see what comes next. We can't wait to see you on the stage. Again, I'm hoping, would you have 3-4 more opportunities before you graduate?
A couple more, yeah.
A few more.
Okay. Well, there's still some more to see, more characters to develop on stage. Well, I want to thank you both for taking the time to speak with me about this absolutely hilarious show production that you put on. Kudos to the
Thank you.
entire cast and crew. Um, you know, I feel sorry for the people who weren't able to see it because they missed out on some side-splitting joy. So congratulations for a job very well done. Thank you, and we'll keep our eyes open for all the rest of the productions this year.
Fantastic.
Thank you both.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe to Made in MV to learn how we do what we do at the Mount Vernon School and why. Join me next time on Made in MV.